Hey guys, the four of us here yet again. Tom, Zach, myself,
Hell yes.
Dewey. And
Hurrah.
the Wii U Pro controller just announced by Nintendo. I don't know how to feel about this controller. I like it, obviously. It's definitely something that I think that is going to benefit the Wii U, but I'm concerned as well. And I will voice my concerns once you guys get a chance to speak on your
No one can
thoughts,
just be
but-
happy with what Nintendo does. Gotta bash them.
I'm not bashing them. I'm just saying I do have a concern
Okay, I'm gonna lead
about
off.
this.
I'm gonna
Go
lead
ahead.
off because I'm very passionate about this. Because
Ooh.
Arkham City is coming to this. Darksiders 2 is coming to the Wii U. All these quote hardcore games are coming to the Wii U, and we need a controller to play it on, not the Wii controller. Or the Wii Motion Plus controller, and that's what this controller is going to do because the tablet controller is probably going to be somewhat expensive, and you can probably play Arkham City with that controller, of course, but you're not going to want to buy like a bunch of those, and this is going to be a cheap alternative, so we're good with this controller. It fulfills a need, Raymond. Fulfills a need.
I understand.
Yeah, I
that.
think it seems like the Wii U playing video games for more than an hour controller.
Yeah,
Right.
It's comfortable. It's a proven formula. I like it.
Not a surfboard.
I'm not bashing the Pro controller. Don't get me wrong. I definitely see the benefit of this controller, and I'm all for using this controller. I guess I'll use this time to voice my one concern. And my one concern is that when they are making games specifically for the Wii U, or they're porting a game over to the Wii U from the Xbox or PlayStation 3, my concern is the time that the developers have taken to integrate the Wii U's touchscreen and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How is that going to work? How if they've integrated it and made it, they can't make that stuff mandatory now that players have the option to use the Pro controller, and that's going to be an issue for developers, which is going to make it an issue for the games themselves, thus making it an issue for the players, the gamers themselves. I see it as it's making things a little more complicated in that realm, because once a developer goes, well, we're going to include this functionality, but we also have to make it so that the game can be played without the use of this functionality, the touchscreen functionality becomes a lesser thing, and then you are just going to get the games that have the maps on the touchscreen and nothing else.
Don't you love how you have pretty much like one legitimate concern and I make it out? You're Nintendo bashing, you hate.
Yeah.
So like take a game like Assassin's Creed 3, okay?
Yes.
It's going to have some extra functionality with the Wii U controller. You maybe be able to look at like the encyclopedia and that kind of stuff.
Right.
And so I think that if you don't have that controller, it'll play just like it will on the Xbox 360 or the PS3.
And I agree with you. That would make sense. But my concern, I think that my concern is still valid in that once developers, get a hold of this thing and they're developing for the Wii U, knowing that probably I would say a large part of gamers are going to be more drawn to the Pro controller. They're going to not develop as much or as well. The quality might take a hit on the touchpad and all that stuff. I just feel like it's going to cause a bit of a complication where there doesn't necessarily need to be one. I'm all for this controller. Me being a console gamer my entire life, I like the Xbox 360 controller. I like the PS2 controller and the PS3 controller to a slightly lesser extent. But
So you're not going to get this thing and then just break it immediately as an act of rebellion.
no, I'm not. I'll probably end up using it, but I think that as a gamer, with the controller being what they focused on so hard last year at E3, and then coming out right before their press conference and saying, we also have a regular controller, so you don't have to use the thing we worked so hard on.
What seems like with what you're saying here is how it's going to play out is the Wii U, the actual Wii U controller with the tablet is going to be pretty much a gimmick. Outside of like for third parties, for Nintendo games, Nintendo will utilize it, but
Absolutely.
outside of maybe a few games made by third parties, it's just going to be maybe a couple tacked on features.
And I think that this Pro controller has the potential to cannibalize the the newest draw of the Wii U, which is this touchscreen. And
However,
I don't think that's in Nintendo's best interest.
It does allow for easier porting if they don't feel like if it's just an issue of the controller, the Wii U controller being different and handling a little bit differently. It feels because it's has a screen on it. It's not like an Xbox 360 controller. If you know that there's pretty much an Xbox 360 controller that works with the Wii U, it's easier to put a game that's on the 360 or the PS3 onto the Wii U because the controls are there. And so you might have more third-party games that are willing to go there. And then we can just say, forget about it. All we need is the Wii U. No 360, no PS3, no PS4. Nintendo has all of our needs.
And I completely agree with you on that point. I mean, a lot of people that go out and buy Nintendo consoles buy them specifically for the Nintendo games. Not everybody, but a lot of people do. I know myself, I'm one of those people who bought a Wii just last Christmas because I wanted to play Skyward Sword. I mean, and that's the only reason I bought the Wii. And then I got some other Nintendo games. Haven't bought any other third-party games. There's some good ones, don't get me wrong. But the main draw for a Nintendo system is the Nintendo games. And then when you do have this Pro Controller, it is going to make porting games from the other systems that much easier. I agree with you. I just think that for people that already own a 360 or PlayStation 3, they're not going to be drawn to the Wii U just to play the games that they can already buy for the system they already own. And the main draw for the new console being this new touchscreen and being able to transfer the video from the TV to the handheld itself is a very, very good draw. And I just don't know if this Pro Controller is the best thing to pull out before the Wii U is even released. I think they did a good job with the classic controller being released for Wii U after the Wii was released, because then people could, they had a good year to get used to the Wiimote and stuff like that. And I don't know. I want to hear from Dewey because Dewey has not said anything this whole time.
I wanted to interrupt you.
Right. Some are calling this a death warrant for Wii U multiplayer games that use the Wii U controller. How do you feel about that?
My feelings on the controller are I think it's a good idea. I'm glad that they're releasing it. There's going to, like you guys have well said in the first 6 minutes of this video, that there'll be lots of games they'll be able to use for and easier ports and that kind of stuff. But I also think that it's a huge step up from the classic controller of the Wii. The Wii's classic controller, I mean, it's better than the Wiimote, but for some games, of course.
Right.
But it's still really not that great of a controller, in my opinion, and it's a huge step up from that. I think it's funny, and this is strictly from a visual standpoint. It looks like a knockoff 360 controller to me.
Like it's a Mad Catz thing or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I mean, not at all. I'm sure it's a fine piece of technology. It just looks funny. But so I don't know. I haven't held it. We'll have to see how it holds in the user's hands and that kind of stuff. Because in my opinion, that's a really big thing when it comes to like controls and that kind of stuff. Like, how do I like it? How does it feel in my hand? And how is that going to go? And that's I guess that's what I want to see.
So does it look like from the picture that it has a built-in battery pack like the PS3, because you have what looks like a micro USB port on the top of it, which would be presumably how you charge it, right. And so it's a built-in battery pack.
Absolutely.
Hopefully the battery life is good with it.
Yeah, and I say good on Nintendo for that, because as much as me being the Sony fanboy that I am, I much prefer the Xbox controller over the PlayStation controller, but I gotta say that the fact that I don't have to keep on worrying about battery packs and all that crap for my PS3 controllers is a definite plus on that.
I would love to be able to charge it with the system off.
Yes, this is true.
That would be a wonderful thing.
You could just plug it into something
Nintendo.
that's... Oh, yeah. Or just plug it into your PC and
that's too much work. Come on.
But I think that pretty much sums up our thoughts, at least our initial thoughts on this new Pro controller for the Wii U. It's a good thing. For some things, it could be detrimental. We'll have to wait and find out in the future once we actually get our hands on the Wii U's tablet controller and our hands on the Pro controller.